Hey folks, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stock, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Saturday. It's September 23rd. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. And in this video, I'm going to do another rapid fire news update for the previous week. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. This will be for the week September 16th to September 22nd. And again, if you're not familiar with this new format, essentially I bring up all of the important articles that happened and transpired over the last week, and I just do a high-level overview. I don't go into the actual deep dive details. It's just in case you miss something that I can bring it up and then go through all of the major news that, like I said, happened over the last week. And if you want to look into it further, you can do so on your own time. But make sure to give POW Group a follow on X as well. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Again, that is @GroupPow on X. I'll be using that as my platform of choice going forward. I also just did an interview with Normal's political director, Morgan Fox. We talked about rescheduling, safe banking, and more. I did that yesterday, and if you haven't seen that, you can check that out. Getting some mixed emotions from that. He definitely is of the pessimistic type. I think it's just because he works in Congress, right? And as we know, not to get political, I'm in Canada, so I have no side of the aisle. I'm not on either side of the aisle, but as we know, lawmakers in the US definitely are behind, and not just on MJ, but on a lot of different things, right? And they're usually never first and they're never last, but you can just tell that Morgan Fox is pretty skeptical because of the fact that, you're dealing with, pretty old lawmakers, right? They've been in there for 30, 40 years. Most of them are negative with regards to MJ. So we just need it's sign of the times. We just need more younger, candidates coming in, and eventually it's going to happen, right? It's just a matter of when, not if, and just reiterate patience as well, right? Also, there was some news with regards to Tilray, and they came out with a proxy and a Schedule 14A form, and on those was a proposal to increase the number of common shares in the company. So I've already done a video on that. A lot of people were freaking out about that, so I did a specific video. You can check that out if you haven't seen that. Also, Cheech and Chong launched Dreams Dispensary partnership in New Mexico. It's been a while since I heard from them. Also, MJ MSO Columbia Care raises $25 million in private placement. I did a video on this as well. So did Canopy, and that I did a video on that as well. So again, I'm not going to go into the details of that, but it's great to see that institutional investors are getting involved. And then also, speaking of Columbia Care, they rebranded as the Cannabis Co. In a move that came just after that private placement news. Also, Montana's legal MJ sales hit record 28.7 million in August. Also, Canadian MJ retail is evolving and consolidating after 5 years of legalization. And they go on to talk about Fire and Flower, creditor protection, and then FICA MJ successfully bid $36 million to at the recent auction. And then it just goes on about how there's over 4,000 regulated MJ stores spread unevenly across the enormous country. Obviously, Quebec is lacking big time in terms of numbers compared to, British Columbia or Ontario or even Alberta, which we should start to see that pick up, in my opinion. MJ producer BZAM cuts 90 more jobs after TGOD merger, and that is a total of 275 positions since the integration began. So they're trying to eliminate redundant facilities, realigning the company's production activities across remaining sites, reducing selling and general and administrative, so SG&A expenses, to achieve the broader goal of positive earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, otherwise known as EBITDA. Moving on, Aurora confirms approval of transfer to NASDAQ Capital Market, enters into an agreement to repurchase a further US $9.6 million principal amount of convertible notes. So I talked about this. The move on the NASDAQ would potentially get them a 180-day extension. So you can check that out for more information on that. Also, IMMJ announces CFO departure. So Oren Shuster, Chief Executive Officer of IMC, said, on behalf of our entire team, I would like to thank Ite for his commitment to and contribution to IMC. Since joining IMC a year ago, Ite has been a valuable member of our management team, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. Moving on, Aurora launches bold new brand Tasties into Canadian adult market. To be honest, I was never really a fan of Aurora, specifically their products, their business model for sure, and their overall business. But their products, I tried multiple of them, and I just wasn't ever a fan. But I'm starting to see more and more products that are starting to entice me a little bit more. So I'm going to be probably doing some reviews on those here in the not too distant future. Like I said, they've got some exciting new products coming out, which is great to see. Also, moreover, about Normal, the Federal House Committee advances legislation easing hiring restrictions for those with the history of MJ use with bipartisan support. So that was the Cure Act, which had a vote of 30 to 14 today in favor of bipartisan legislation. So other than the research bill, this was the second standalone bill to my knowledge that got passed with regards to MJ. So that's great to see. There was also the reintroduction of the MORE Act as well. And then Don Murphy mentioned that he was able to get another Republican senator into the yay column for safe banking, so safer, which is great to see. Also, Tilray's best-selling beers make landfall in Atlantis and Bahamas. So that would be Montauk. So the ninth largest craft brewer in the U.S. Wow, are now available at Atlantis Resort on Paradise Island in the Bahamas, and will be available soon to additional locations across the Caribbean. Great to see. New MJ ETF hits the market based on rescheduling hopes. So I did do a video on this. The ticker symbol for that is LGLZ. So again, if you haven't seen that, I did a video on that. Again, I didn't do a complete deep dive. I was just reporting the news, but I will do a deeper dive and probably another video on that one, going through my thoughts and opinions if it's a good hold and all of the holdings, etc., and how they compare to some of our other ETFs like MJ and MSOS, HMMJ, to name a few. Also, Senate MJ banking bill unveiled with key vote expected next week. So it's going to be a big week ahead. We're going to have on Wednesday the Safe Banking, the Senate Banking Committee on September 27th will pour over a bill called Safer Banking. A bipartisan group of senators confirmed on Wednesday. So that will be on September 27th next week on Wednesday. So all eyes will be on that. We also have the Canopy meeting on the 25th, where they're going to vote for the share consolidation proposal and a few other proposals as well. But the board does recommend voting in favor of all of those proposals. So we'll see what happens after they failed to close above 10 consecutive trading days above $1 last week. They failed to do so on Wednesday, the 8th day. So they still have until January 11th to regain compliance, 180 days from that date. So it could still regain compliance, but you have to, I'm a realist before anything else. And the fact is that it's very possible that we could see a reverse split. And that meeting is going to be on the 25th. So we should get some updates later on the 25th or on the 26th of the results of that. Also, Seeking Alpha article here, Tilray, North America's most transformative MJ company. And they go on to list, it's a pretty bullish article. But if you haven't seen that, I highly encourage you to check that out. Definitely music to my ears. And I agree wholeheartedly. Tilray Brands Inc. to announce first quarter 2024 financial results on October 4th. I also did a video on this. There will also be a conference call on that day at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, which I'll be tuning into, and I'll be providing an update after that call. And I'll do a video on that and their earnings review. But I did do a video on a preview, what to expect in terms of analyst estimates. I go over some technical analysis, what to expect in the chart as well, and a few other things. And Hexo's revenue will be on it this time around. They won't have the advisory fee, but they should cancel each other out. Also, Thailand plans MJ law rewrite to allow only medical sales. Thailand's new prime minister said in the Southeast Asian country plans to rewrite its MJ laws to allow only medical use, a move that would halt widespread recreational sales and fundamentally alter the industry. So a little bit of a step back there, but still moving forward, which is fine, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. As long as we're moving forward, that's what we're looking to do. The Netherlands government also announced a start date for MJ pilot program. The Netherlands will begin its MJ experiment in 2 cities, Breda and Tilburg, in December. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Also, Trulieve announced its purchase of 8% senior secured notes due 2026, and they also opened a medical MJ dispensary in Evans, Georgia. Also, Canadian MJ sales picked up strongly in July. So they rose strongly from June levels, up 1.9% to 446.1 million Canadian. Also, Schumer circulates petition to demand federal MJ legalization as he works to advance MJ banking bill. Keep on at it, right? Again, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but seems like things are different this time, and we're really starting to make some serious strides in the industry. It's going to be likely multiple years, though, before we really start to see, massive reform, especially at the federal level. whether it be legalization of medical, full-blown legalization. I think that's at least a few years out. But like I said, safe banking, rescheduling, maybe even descheduling over the next couple of years, that's something to look forward to. And then we'll get to full-blown legalization. We also have Florida potentially on the ballot for 2024. MJ Act under review here in Canada, which we could see some updates. Germany coming online. There's lots to look forward to and to be excited about. Republican MJ banking sponsors introduce bill to halt MJ rescheduling. So get out of here with this garbage. 2 key Republican senators sponsoring MJ banking reform are now pushing new legislation to thwart Biden administration historic MJ rescheduling efforts. So a lot of people that are advocates for banking reform, they do not want, like Senator Daines, he doesn't want, Steve Daines doesn't want full-blown legalization at the federal level, but yet he's one of the biggest advocates for banking. So it's kind of a little bit of irony there, but again, as long as we're moving in the right direction and, kind of just crawl, walk, run and get there in baby steps. But Senator Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming and Senator Steve Daines of Montana on Thursday introduced the Deferring Executive Authority DEA Act. Funny how they chose that as we're waiting for DEA sign off on HHS's recommendation. Both are supporters of the Safer Banking Act, which is scheduled for next week on the 27th, like I said. So it's just, like I said, it's odd that they're blocking this. But as I mentioned, when we got the news from HHS, there's likely going to be some opposition, and they were going to use that as a way to manipulate the market, as they always do, to cool off the rally and then to create a dip so that they can continue to sell the rips and buy the dips, right? Just rinse and repeat. Classic manipulation 101. Also, Benzinga MJ Capital Conference returns at a pivotal moment as the federal government considers relaxing MJ laws. So that'll be held in Chicago on September 27th, 28th. So big week next week. Like I said, with the banking vote on the 27th, we have Canopy meeting on the 25th, Benzinga on the 27th and the 28th. NCAA panel formally recommends removing MJ from banned substances list for college athletes. So again, more positive strides in the right direction, right? MJ banking bill will pass decisively next week, Senate committee chair says, as more amendments are floated. So this is great to see. Just kind of, deal with what we have, right? And get past, do something, right? Give people what they want, and what the people want is some sort of reform, some sort of movement, right? And like I said, as long as we address a few issues now, those more widespread issues, we can sort those out later on. But obviously, banking needs to be a key issue here, right? Where a lot of businesses are operating as cash-only businesses. It's very dangerous to employees, very dangerous to store owners and things like that, right? They can get robbed. And once you can bring it into the traditional finance world, be able to pay with a credit card, right? Something so simple. We can't even do that in the U.S., right? If you go to Planet 13 or you go anywhere in the U.S., you're not able to use an actual, credit card. So that, in my opinion alone, would be a massive step for the industry. And then, like I said, we could potentially, over the next few months, get a response from the DEA, whether or not they sign off on HHS's recommendation of Schedule 3. And the MJ charts are looking super bullish here into the end of the year. But make sure to check out palmerch.ca as well. You can score Team Tilray hat or tons of other. There's Team Canopy, Team XRP if you're into that. There's tons of other products on there as well. There's 10% off going to the end of the month. As a thank you, I do appreciate each and every one of you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. For those of you that have supported me along the way, it's been a journey, and I'm looking forward to continuing on this journey with all of you, and just grateful to be here and to be alive and experiencing the rollout of this amazing industry and medicine of the future. But going to end it there, I hope you have a great weekend ahead. Let me know what you think of this new video and this news and this new format. But going to end it there, hope you have a great weekend. It's Rob with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. We'll see you again on the next video.